All right, welcome to this masterclass on why hardworking athletes freeze at tryouts and how to fix it fast. So, we're going to get right into it. Thanks for showing up. I'm not your kids' coach, so that's who I am. Right off the bat, I want you to know that. I'm the one who teaches athletes how to build self fixing systems so they can break the bottlenecks that are holding them back. And we're going to get into exactly what a bottleneck is. But basically, in the simplest terms, bottleneck is the number one thing that's stopping you. Because if you fix that number one thing, everything else will fix following it, just like a bottle on the skinny part of the bottle. So this is not a motivational masterclass. It's all about how to help your athlete compete when it counts, and even when things go sideways. So I'm the one who helps those athletes build those self-fixing systems so they can break the bottlenecks. So let's talk about this bottleneck. Now, let me tell you a tale of two athletes. So both of them trained really hard. So both had talent, both went to the same camps, they did the same shooting sessions or skills, they had the same team practices and the same coaches. Now, athlete one, they did all the reps, all the work, but never really focused on the bottlenecks. They just went through all of the things their coaches told them to do. They went through the motions, more shots, more skating, power skating, shooting, flow drills, more gym time, but they never solved what was actually stopping them. Athlete two, same training, same hours, but they learned to spot bottlenecks, they learned to self fix, and they learned to focus on every drill fixing their bottleneck. So they learned how to leverage or focus on every drill doing what mattered most, which was fixing their bottleneck. Now, who do you think leveled up faster? Who do you think coaches noticed? And then who do you think showed up at tryouts confident, not guessing? It wasn't the kid who worked more, it was the kid who worked better, who went deeper. And that's why models will beat motivation every time. Think about business. I work with business leaders, I work with school systems, I work with professionals all around the world, and it's the same type of thing. So in business, a better model beats more hustle. I know the hustle culture is strong, and yes, you need hustle, but you need to hustle in a really deep way. In sports, it's the same thing. A better system or model beats more reps. So that's why we don't just train harder, we engineer that leverage, and that's really, really important. So if your kid can't fix mid game, we have a problem. And that's what we're going to really work on today is no one's coming to save them mid game. Not you, not me, not the coach. And that's why we build those self-fixing athletes. So why do they freeze under pressure? Well, this is why they fall apart. It's not the skill, it's not the fitness, it's what breaks under the fire. And when I say fire, I mean inside the game. And what shows up under pressure usually is kind of not what we're thinking about. We're thinking about, oh, they don't skate hard enough, or they don't move their feet hard enough, or they don't shoot. But really, what shows up under pressure for kids is the fear of failure or the fear of looking dumb in their terms, or trying to be perfect, or overthinking, or getting stuck after one bad moment. So, that identity that's tied to the outcome, that overthinking, that's what they're really scared of. They're really scared of that status, that image, and that ego. And here's the brutal truth, really. Winners focus on what they do. Most focus on how they look. I'm going to repeat that. Winners focus on what they do, the proof, and most focus on how they look to other people. So, like I said before, if your kid can't fix it mid game, no one's coming to save them. They have to learn how to do this inside the fire on their own using the training that they're already doing. And that's why we really focus on a system that builds self fixing athletes. So let's talk about what that means and how we do it. So we have a fix formula in Compete Code, and it's as simple as it gets. Diagnose the problem, fix it, win. So here's the 5-step system that we use inside Compete Code. That's super simple, super clear, super powerful, and you can start using this today. So step one is finding that friction, finding that bottleneck and diagnosing it. Now, I didn't say a whole bunch. I meant one. And if you remember, a bottleneck is the number one thing that keeps stopping them. It's as simple as that. That's the bottleneck. What keeps getting in their way over and over again? So some examples of athletes who have done Compete Code, some diagnoses of that they diagnose themselves, by the way, is I had an athlete that board battles. They always lost their board battles. That was their bottleneck. Another one was coasting away from the puck. So they weren't moving their feet when they didn't have the puck. So they weren't getting any puck touches. If I had a goalie that was all about rebound control and giving up rebounds, that was her number one bottleneck. Another one I had, his was carrying that puck with speed. So he would get the puck and he would automatically slow down with it and wouldn't shoot to score. All of those things. And another athlete was all about reset. So they froze under pressure, which is really good to go with our pre-tryout focus today. Step two, once you have that bottleneck diagnosed, you break it into 4 to 5 small parts. So examples of this are, for board battles, maybe it's they're getting low and they're using the body to leverage themselves off of the player. They engage first. They stay balanced. They win the puck. They get there first and win that puck race, or they stay in that fight and they don't stop until they come out with the puck. So it's really breaking that bottleneck down. For the athlete that's coasting, maybe it's moving their feet, getting 3 stick lengths away from the puck carrier so that they're always within a scoring opportunity or a passing outlet. Maybe it's attacking the puck, supporting play, call for the puck. Rebounds, it might be the 4 to 5 moments might be a track shot or clear puck or reset stance or prep for a second save. It could change within those moments, but your athlete will determine those 4 to 5 small parts. My athlete who was all about carrying the puck with speed, his was head up, 3 hard strides, handle pressure, and keep pushing. Freezing might be decide early, trust plan. Maybe it's reacting fast or adjusting. Now we can get even more granular into those 4 to 5 small parts, but the point is the 4 to 5 small parts are dedicated to fixing that bottleneck. Step three, now that you have your bottleneck and your 4 to 5 small parts on how to fix it, this is where you use this tracker to focus on it every practice and every game. Not extra hours, not new drills. Notice I said that. Just on the training that they're already doing in the games they're already playing. So if they're in a practice, and it's the board battles, it's every battle they focus on. They get low first, they engage first, they use the body as the other player's body as leverage, and they come out with the puck. They're hyper focused on those battles. It could be a battle within a flow drill, could be a battle within a scrimmage. Doesn't matter. They're really focused on leveraging only that skill. Everything else comes easier to them. Because if they fix that one skill, they'll get more puck touches. They'll come out with the puck more. They'll get more scoring chances. If it's a reset type of a bottleneck, every mistake they focus on, they focus on the reset formula that they determined in those 4 to 5 small parts. Maybe if it's carrying the puck with speed, every practice and game, they focus on every rush they make, or every time they have control of the puck, they push 3 hard strides before looking, and they track that. And that's what leads us to step 4, which is all about tracking. You need, just like us as adults, if you don't see the tiny little micro moments that you're improving, you're missing an opportunity to grow and leverage and use that to build that confidence and that consistency that we're looking for. So step 4 is all about tracking it. At the end of every practice or game, you look at your bottleneck tracker. So your bottleneck with your 4 to 5 small moments, and you track it in a 1 to 5 system. 1 meaning you missed it almost every time. 3 meanings I hit it sometimes, and 5, I nailed it most of the time. So every micro moment, you're giving it a score of 1 to 5. Step 5 is all about proof. Proof over feelings every time. So many times parents are like, well, how do you think you played? No, it's what's the proof? Let me look at your bottleneck tracker and let's go through it and see where you rated yourself. So they only focus on proof, and you take out those emotions. And when you see proof, you build confidence, because confidence doesn't come from hope. It comes from proof that you did something you never thought you could do. So it might be, instead of how was your game today, you just say, what's the proof that from your working on your bottleneck today? And your kid will eventually get trained to, I won 3 battles today, puck battles today. Or I reset after 4 mistakes I made in the game, or 2 mistakes I made in the game, whatever. Or I carried the puck with speed twice a period. So you can see they have real concrete proof and clarity of them actually progressing on their bottleneck. And the more and more they do it, the higher rating they give themselves. And that's how we stack the real progress. And you do that in tryouts too. So here's the system that kind of overlooks the whole thing. I teach athletes how to look at input output equations. And this is the equation. Input is, at times leverage plus proof equals that 10x compete. Now, let's talk about what that means within this equation. Kids don't think about their training with input output equations. They don't think about what they put in and what they get out. They most of the time just look at the drills and they think, did I get through the practice? How did I feel? Or did I get through the game and how did I feel? This takes all feeling out of it and goes directly to return on investment. So input is using the training they're already doing. It's everything they're already doing. There's no more training. It's everything they're doing. The leverage is where you focus on the one thing that moves the needle, your bottleneck. That if you are hyper focused on tracking your bottleneck for every practice, every game, you will multiply your compete because you have the last part, which is proof. You have tracking that proves that you are improving. And when you see that you're improving, you keep going. Think about weight loss. You use a scale, and as you see the scale go down, you feel more and more motivated to work harder, to stick with it, to be more consistent. The same thing happens for athletes when they see that number from 1 to 5 moving, or staying at fives. They all of a sudden are competing a lot more consistently. And that's where you get your multiplied results, your 10x compete. Now, in business, like I said, I work with business leaders, I work with school leaders, I work with athletes. But in business, you don't get rich from working more hours, really. Let's think about that. You get rich from building a better model. Now, in sports, it's the same. The kids who grow the fastest, they're not just doing more, they're working a better system. And I always tell my athletes this: your biggest currency in tryouts, in life, in academics is work ethic over talent every time. And these are the three things that people are looking for in tryouts. This is how you walk into tryouts ready to win. Your work ethic over your outcome. That is your biggest currency. Your fast decision making and your obsession with improving. I had one athlete that just came from Team Alberta tryouts. And after the first ice session, they had one-on-ones with the coaches. And they had two more ice sessions to go after that, two more games. And a lot of the players got feedback, harsh feedback, but true feedback. And they crumbled. But this athlete who was in compete code took that and used it to obsess about improving that one thing they said that that athlete needed to improve, which was the feedback that that athlete got was, you're one of the best players in Alberta. You need to start acting like it and you need to start playing more aggressive. It was very broad, but she obsessed on aggressive and decision making. And so she took that, did not pout about it. She reset, used her reset formula because she'd worked on that already a couple bottlenecks back. She made a quick decision on how she built her bottleneck based on how to be more aggressive and get to the puck first and showcase her fast decision making. And those next two games, she skyrocketed from the first one because she used the feedback. She had diagnosed the problem. She gave the 4 to 5 micro moments she needed to do to get to be obsessed with improving with what the coaches wanted to see and show the fast decisions, which in the end showcased her work ethic even over her talent. Now, this is what I really want you to know. I always talk to athletes is a lot of the time, no one cares as much as you. So stop worrying about what other people think and just focus on winning that bottleneck, not winning the scoreboard. Win your moment, win your battle, and win your reset. Because you either build the kid who can handle pressure or you can build and hope they get lucky enough to avoid it. Pressure is coming either way, and it's better to build the kid who can handle the pressure versus the kid who's going to use that as an excuse not to show up under pressure. And that's a real big thing that I want you to really focus on with your athletes when you start to work on, how do they show up in games? How do they show up in tryouts? How do they show up through their training? They put pressure on their training so that by the time they get to the pressure moment in a game, they've practiced it so many times, it's highly unlikely they'll fail because they already know it. Same kid, same practices, new level. So that's really, really important. And I want to tell you one last parable before we leave, and it's all about the Amazing Race. Now, the Amazing Race, if you've seen, I'm sure all of you know what it is. There's the couples travel around the world and they basically race to see who can be the fastest and get to the end quicker. So in one season of The Amazing Race, there was a couple who wasn't the fastest, who wasn't the smartest, who didn't know the local languages, yet they kept winning. Why? Because every time they landed in a new country, while the other teams were sprinting off the plane, this couple did one thing first. They stopped, they looked around, and they found a local. And instead of guessing and getting lost or panicking, they would hire or ask the local who knew the area, spoke the language, if they could guide them. And they followed that person around. Simple, right? They leveraged. They followed someone who already knew the way and could speak the language. Now, while other teams were scrambling, they moved with speed and certainty, and they weren't faster runners. They just had a better system. They didn't outwork the others, they outsystemed them. And it worked again and again because they weren't playing the race, they were playing the system. They were playing that leverage game. So when you're walking into tryouts, it's not always the one who has the most skill or who's trying the hardest. It's the one who builds systems that unclog the bottlenecks quicker so everything else flows faster. And why do I tell you this amazing race story? Well, it's important to have that guide to help you be more strategic because no one cares as much as you think. So you need to just win. If you're going to fail, make sure it's on you, not giving excuses. Obsess when no one else is trying. And I know you know all this already, and I know a lot of you will say, okay, I know, they'll listen to this, they'll nod, and you will change nothing. And then you're going to wonder why your kid's still stuck the next season. Well, you need a system. So if you would like a guide like The Amazing Race to do that system and ready to help your athlete break through, I would love to be that through Compete Code. And what I'm offering is consistency through proof. You will have ownership and you will have self-fixing or self-coaching wins every time. So I'm starting a brand new system, which is the 7-day bottleneck breakthrough. Same kid, same practice, same new level. So what's that worth to you? If you give me 7 days, parents, I'll give you a different athlete. That's the game, and that's how we're going to play. So what you get in 7 days is you're going to get a bottleneck diagnosis. I'll teach your athlete how to do that. And we identify the number one thing blocking your progress. You're going to get a self-coaching video and challenge to teach them how to train to fix that bottleneck inside of practices and games. They'll have 7 days of access to me, accountability, feedback, adjustments, and no guesswork. We're not doing any motivational speaking right now. We're working only on proof over feelings. And what they'll walk out with is a more confident, coachable athlete that can self-fix themselves using the training that they're already doing. And why it works is we're not adding more training. We make what they're already doing work 10 times, 10x, 10 times harder. So you're not getting a new coach. I'm teaching them how to be their own coach, their engineer of their system. They can use their own coach for sure to help them build their bottleneck, absolutely. But this is the system to unlock what's stuck. And in 7 days, you'll see your kid differently because they'll see themselves differently. What does it cost? It's $197. It's probably the best $197 that you're going to spend. So if you're looking for that guide, like The Amazing Race, who knows the way, who's been there before, who's helped athletes before, Compete Code is your guide. And I'm going to put it into the chat. You can see that I have a 7-day intensive link where you can work with me for 7 days. Or there's also the 4-week Compete Code where we work for 4 weeks together doing the same thing, but just at a longer period of time and a little more intense, and that is $497. So it's there for you. I hope that you will look at using it and think about how can I get there faster? How can I use speed via strategy, not effort? How can I leverage by borrowing knowledge and not building it from scratch? And think about how most people will default to just doing what they always do or default to hustle instead of engineering wins. How can I get my kid engineering their own wins? So I hope this helped you today. I want to make sure that you know that Compete Code is out there if you need that guide. But if not, there's that system that can help them get unstuck and not freeze inside of those tryouts. You can start that today. So good luck on your tryouts. I hope that your athlete is engineering their own success using the training that they're already doing. And I just want to thank you. Thanks for coming. See ya.